Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your hostess, femininity coach and author of the Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. So I wanted to click this because this is an important lesson for the women. The difference between boring and peaceful, and why this hyena got it wrong. So we're just gonna let her say what she's saying.
And next minute I need to do that. Like, a schedule does not work for me, so I can't get bored. If you cannot fulfill like that excitement in my life, I will get bored. I love my healthy relationship, but it's like,
do y'all think healthy relationships get boring? Like, you're in a good relationship with a guy and you're enjoying your time, or a girl, it doesn't matter. Like, you enjoy who you're with, you're enjoying your time, and then all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, but the fact that the routine is so good, does it get like boring? Like, damn, we need like some type of discourse.
So,
like, oh, I need to yell at
your
him.
relationship is healthy.
Okay.
So please,
okay. So yeah, I think this really
healthy.
is a question for me. So yes, I do have a healthy relationship. But me personally, as a person, I don't know if it's a Gemini thing. I don't know if it's me, but consistency does not work for me. Like, I'm very sporadic. Like, 1 minute I could do this, and next minute I need to do that. Like, a schedule does not work for me, so I can't get bored. If you cannot fulfill like that excitement in my life, I will get bored. I love my healthy relationship.
Now, I'm gonna tell y'all the reason why this is done. And this goes into something that I was trying to explain before. And I got a lot of pushback, and the pushback was more so due to misunderstanding. And to be honest with you, a lot of that misunderstanding was actually from the men, because they have a hard time differentiating the interjection of some sporadic thing, like oh, you want to go out tonight, when it was unplanned, or you want to play a game, when it was unplanned, or you want to watch a movie, whatever it is, to break up the routine of something. A lot of the guys have a hard time with that concept because they immediately link it to drama and some type of negative thing. And a lot of times, the reason why I think that a lot of times the men make that connection is because a lot of them are with hyenas. And hyenas, by not being in their femininity, do not know the difference between doing something that is spontaneous and it's fun and it's good and it's cool for both people, and creating the drama just so something can be going on. There's a difference between a lioness saying, hey babe, you feel like going to the movies? Let's go check out the newest movie. And that wasn't planned. But yet she knows her husband likes going to the movies with her. Maybe they haven't done that in a few months. Maybe they haven't done that in a year or more. Okay. And she says, hey, we don't have nothing to do. It's a 3-day weekend. You want to go to the movies? That's spontaneous. And that is an interjection. That is a lioness's version of interjecting the spontaneity, which is rooted in her chaos, into her relationship without interjecting drama, negativity, and problems. Okay? That's the type of interruption of maybe a routine or something like that a woman can do, and it's cool. It's good. It's actually good for the relationship. It's good for them because it can create moments of bonding where they may have missed doing something that they usually do. or that they used to do regularly. And routine goes on, life starts happening, and maybe they lose. We used to do X, Y, and Z all the time and we enjoyed it. It's been 8 months. We've not done that. You know what? Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's get back to that. Let's go to our favorite restaurant. Let's go to our favorite place in the park and sit for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to the thing. Let's do the thing that we used to do when we were a newer couple and life, we just kind of let it go. We didn't mean to let it go. It just kind of happened. Let's do that. That's the type of spontaneity that a lioness interjects into her relationship, just to kind of cut the routine, keep the connection fresh so that things don't stale out and that they don't become so routine, and so that you start, it's not the boredom of it. It's that sometimes a routine is just that. It's a routine, and you start to not pay as much attention because this is going to happen here, this is going to happen there, this is going to happen there. As long as those things happen, and you start dropping those small connections and interactions that actually keep marriages healthy, that actually keep the two people engaged with one another, because there's a delicate balance in a marriage. The marriage should have the routine, it should have the security, it should have the predictability level in it, because that adds to the sense of stability. That is where your husband comes in with his order, right? But it also needs the balance of let's do this thing. Those interactions where he and her are getting more emotionally connected, and it's not so black and white X's and O's. Those are the places where there aren't X's and O's are the emotional spaces. And those are the spaces that both people need to work to maintain those spaces. But a lot of times the women are initiative of those connections. Men sometimes get lost in their order. They get lost in their order. They can get lost in it. And it's up to us to say, let's just sit for a while and talk. And he might resist that, thinking that this is a waste of time, that, this and that. But if those interactions are pleasurable, or if those are interactions that y'all used to find pleasurable, reconnect through them, because at least there's a past track record of him liking to do those things or liking to spend time with you in certain ways. It can't just be sex, because sometimes even that becomes like a duty or a routine. You don't want things to become or get to a place in a marriage where you're so accustomed to them that they almost reach a point of insignificance. Or or not insignificance, we start taking it for granted. That's the phrase I was searching for. Start taking it for granted. That's the key. Sometimes the routine can be taken for granted by both parties. Well, I'm used to her doing this and that, so as long as she do this and that, I'm good. I don't need any extras. But that's not actually true. The woman can also get caught in taking certain things for granted that her husband does because he does them routinely. You know what I'm saying? Anytime two people are doing things so well that you think you can take it for granted, means that they're doing a good job of it. Actually, they're doing an excellent job of it because it's made you comfortable. So when husbands and wives get together and the relationship is healthy, that it reaches a point. The reason why these hyenas think it's boring is because the job is being well done to such an extent that you think you almost get to a point of taking it for granted, or taking that person for granted, that they're always going to do this and that they're always going to do that. What you don't want is to get into a position where those things have to stop before you're shaken out of the take it for granted stage, and you have to be brought to reality that, wait a minute, if this person doesn't do these things, I'm kind of up the creek without a paddle. You don't want your marriage to get to that point to where either party has to be brought down, crashing down into earth, because their partner was doing their job so well that they got so comfortable that they could dismiss their partner and take for granted the things that they partner do, and start not to see true value in it. Well, you don't really be doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? Well, you don't really, well, what do you really do? And then if that other person stops, or something happens to that person, somebody gets sick, or something happens, and those things that they were doing stop happening, then you got to see, wait a minute, if this was valuable. This is why I like my husband, because these things are valuable. This is why I like my wife, because these things is valuable. And now some circumstance has come up where they are no longer able to perform these particular sets of things, and now I miss them. I miss them real bad. You never want to have to be shocked back into reality. So the way in which to maintain both the order and the gratitude for your spouse that is helping and doing what they supposed to be doing in this relationship, as this clip said, a healthy relationship, in order to not reach those points where you're dismissive of your spouse, or you don't really see you've lost sight of the importance of what they do in this relationship, and taking for granted the fact that this thing or that thing, or these sets of things that they do or don't do, has actually led you to a space of being so comfortable. You don't want to be, the way to not get to that point is to actually keep the connections open, the emotional connections. This is why spending time is important. And this is why I have always stressed, it's not always the quantity of time that a couple spends together, it's the quality of the time. And I want to make this really clear. When a lioness asks her husband for time, we don't mean stop the world and don't work and don't do what you are doing as a man to come sit up under me for weeks at a time. That's not what we mean. That's not even what we want. What we want is whatever time we spend together, whether that's just time in the morning, or just time in the evening, or maybe we only get one day out of a week where we can really connect. Let's do the connection. Let's do the connection part of it. Take time out of your marriage, and when you have connection time, don't use that time to complain. That time, that quality time that you're having, you got to use that time to be pleasant with one another, to encourage one another to spend the time. Because if the time is unpleasant, we will avoid it. We'll avoid that time. We won't want to spend it, because even if it's available, because this is not a good experience. I'm not saying that there aren't times in your relationship where you need to have hard conversations or tough conversations or talk about important things. That's not what I'm saying. But there has to be a time that you spend that is devoid of that. It must be, it's imperative, because it allows you as a husband and a wife to look at each other and remember why you love each other. Remember why you're together. Remember why you chose one another. Remember why you chose that woman. Remember why you submitted to that man. Remember why you allowed yourself to even be chosen by this man. Remember why you have cleaved to him. Remember why you bared those kids. Remember. And it's easy to forget. And it takes effort to remember. Because we can get focused on the so-called negative things that's happening, or the other things that we wish we felt, and this and that. We have to work to rekindle some of those feelings and to stay in love with each other. And the staying connected prevents us from growing apart. Like couples say, oh, we just grew apart. We just, I looked up one day and that was a stranger. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know my husband anymore. I didn't know my wife anymore. One of the ways to help prevent that from happening is that if you maintain steady connection throughout your marriage, you'll notice when your spouse starts changing, and you'll understand why they're changing. What's changing? What circumstances are happening? What other things, external things? It may not even be things that's going on in y'all marriage. It could be extended family or some outside thing, good or bad. And when you connect with your husband and your wife, you recognize why certain things may have, or how certain things might have affected them. And this is how you are able to give support and understand, my husband, my spouse, took this a certain way, or they're growing. They may be spiritually growing. They may be growing in their health value. They may be growing in their appearance value. And once you realize that they're going in a particular direction, you can grow with them, not apart from them, or watch them grow, but you were stagnant because you didn't know they were growing. You knew something was changing, but you didn't stop until it was too late to figure out why. And that comes from those times that seem insignificant. The things that you was doing, sitting on the couch, eating popcorn together, watching a stupid movie that doesn't mean anything to anybody, but you're laughing at it anyways. That stuff. And that's not rom-com stuff. That you have to make those moments. Sometimes you have to look at your husband and look at your wife and remember, there's always going to be tough times. There's always going to be challenges, but trouble don't last always. It don't. And we can weather storms. We can. Because sometimes the storm ain't even as big as we think it is. It be the disconnection from each other that make a small squall into a hurricane. Because we don't know each other, so we don't know how to maneuver through this no more. Because we don't even know what page we're on anymore. And I know I may have gotten a little bit away from what the video was talking about, but not really. Because that's what she's saying. She doesn't even know what she's saying. She doesn't even understand what she's talking about for real. And I see there's a ring on this young lady's finger. Hopefully she figured that out before, she need to figure this out. Because I think she's coming at it from like more of a negative standpoint. Like you gotta cause trouble in order to maintain interest. And lionesses don't move like that. We don't have to cause trouble in order to maintain the interest. Because the trouble is not the connection anyways. We not trauma bonded. We love. Jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your hostess, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.